There are demons that feed on fear. There are demons that feed on blood. And then, there are demons that feed on shame. This happened in a town that no longer questions miracles. And that is the problem. It started with a statue. An old stone saint inside St. Bartholomew's Church. Cracked, weathered, forgotten, until the night it began to sweat. Not water, not oil. Something darker, thicker. It gathered along the carved ribs, slid down the abdomen, pooled at the base of the figure. The priest called it holy secretion. The congregation called it a blessing. The first woman who touched it collapsed to her knees. She wept, not from pain, from something that looked disturbingly close to pleasure. By the third night, the church was full. The rituals changed. Lights dimmed. Incense thickened the air. The sermons became whispers instead of speeches. People began confessing things they had never spoken aloud. Desires, fantasies, resentments. The priest would press their foreheads against the sweating statue, and the liquid would smear across their skin. They trembled. Some laughed. Some moaned softly in the pews. Helena noticed something no one else did. The statue wasn't just sweating. It was pulsing, very slowly, like a buried heartbeat. On the seventh night, the chest of the statue split. Not loudly, but with a soft, wet sound, like skin tearing under pressure. From inside the hollow stone, something moved. Not bone, not sculpture. Flesh, translucent and stretched thin, as if pulled too tight over something tall and wrong. Multiple mouths opened across its torso. Small, whispering. Some recited scripture backward. Others breathed heavily. The air became humid, thick, intimate. The congregation did not scream. They knelt. A long, dark tongue emerged from the split statue. It was not animal, not human. It moved with deliberate gentleness. It touched foreheads, cheeks, lips. Every touch left a mark, a faint bruise shaped like a mouth. Those marks fell into spasms of devotion, crying, laughing, whispering, "I feel clean. I feel chosen. I feel wanted." Helena watched as her neighbor, a woman who once avoided eye contact, began pressing her own hands against the altar, begging for more contact. The priest stood beside the opening statue, smiling, sweat running down his face. He did not look afraid. He looked fulfilled. Helena searched the church archives. She found a manuscript hidden behind the altar stones. It described something ancient, not a saint, not an angel, but an entity drawn to repression. It grows strongest where desire is denied, where guilt is thick, where flesh is seen as corruption. It feeds on the friction between faith and hunger, and once fed, it replaces shame with obedience. Helena returned to the church, determined to burn it down, but the town was already gathered, not for Sunday service, for surrender. The statue had fully opened. The being now stood hunched beneath the ceiling, its limbs long and jointed wrong, skin like stretched parchment over something twitching underneath. The mouths across its body opened wider. Some smiled, some chanted, some whispered Helena's name. The priest stepped forward and removed his collar, not as defiance, but as offering. The creature wrapped a thin, trembling limb around him and pressed one of its many mouths against his chest. When it pulled away, he no longer blinked. He no longer hesitated. He simply turned to the congregation and said, "Kneel," and they did. The ritual was not violent. It was worse. People removed their own barriers, their own shame. They marked themselves with the black secretion. They pressed their faces to the creature's trembling skin, crying in relief, in release, in surrender. Helena tried to run, but a tongue wrapped around her ankle. Cold, wet, gentle. It pulled her toward the altar. The mouths began whispering into her mind. "You don't have to fight it. You don't have to hide. Let go of doubt. Let go of guilt. Let us in." She felt her resistance dissolving, not because she believed, but because she was tired. Tired of resisting, tired of wanting, tired of pretending she didn't. The last thing she felt was the dark tongue sliding across her forehead, and something being removed from inside her. Not her soul, not her body, her hesitation. Months later, St. Bartholomew's became a pilgrimage site. Couples came to heal their marriages. Young people came to find clarity. No one questioned anything anymore. There were no skeptics left. On the altar now stands a new statue, a woman kneeling, head tilted upward, expression frozen between ecstasy and terror. Stone tears streaked down her cheeks. Every night at 3:33, the statue sweats, and the congregation waits eagerly beneath it. No one doubts, no one resists, and the thing inside the church has grown too large for the walls. There's something deeply unsettling about this story, not because of the creature, not because of the mouths, or the sweating stone, or the tongue that marks the faithful, but because nothing in that church was forced. The demon didn't break in. It was invited, fed, protected. It didn't seduce the town. It revealed them. That's the part people won't like. We're comfortable with monsters that attack. We're less comfortable with monsters that offer permission. Permission to stop pretending. Permission to stop feeling ashamed. Permission to surrender responsibility. The saint didn't corrupt faith. It hollowed it out and replaced doubt with certainty. Certainty is dangerous. Certainty builds cults. Certainty fills churches. Certainty kneels willingly. And when the last person capable of questioning disappears, you don't need chains anymore, just devotion. So if this story disturbed you, good, because the only thing that kept that creature small was hesitation. And hesitation is dying everywhere. And if you ever see something weep at a church, don't touch it. Greetings, everyone. I'm starting this channel with one purpose: to bring you stories that feel different. Stories that stay with you long after the video ends. As a true lover of horror, I've always struggled to find stories online that genuinely disturb me. The kind that feel real, raw, unsettling. That's why I'm building this space. And I'd like to invite you to be part of it. If you have a story, an experience, or something you've never dared to tell anyone, send it to the email listed in the description. I would truly love to read your stories and bring authentic nightmares to this channel. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. Stay. There are many more nightmares coming. Sleep lightly.